I've got a couple of really lovely beetles from Arizona. This is Chrysina beyeri. They're bright green beetle, have purple legs, very pretty. These live in oak forests in Arizona, up above a certain elevation. These are damaged specimens. This one's missing a piece of a leg and a tarsi, and often when you get them, they have some damage. It's rough out there, and they're missing a leg or a foot or something. And whenever some of them come my way, I always grab them and save them. They're very pretty. And I didn't collect these myself. A friend of mine gave them to me. But even if I get a damaged one, I'll save it for parts. And as long as the part comes from the same species, basically from the same population, I don't see any problem with combining animals to replace the parts so you have a nice looking specimen. This one's only missing one rear tarsi right here, and that's it. And other than that, it's really a very nice beetle. So since this one's more damaged, I'm going to take the tarsi off of this one and attach it to this one, and then this one will look intact. I'm going to check on the antennas here too. They've got some antennas folded in. I'm going to make sure they're in good shape. Yep, that one looks good, and that one looks good. So this one, all we need is a foot. All right. So first I'll pin this one, and then I can just attach the foot when I'm finished. Now with these beetles, Chrysina, they're shiny and they're pretty, and I usually use a stainless steel pin instead of a black pin. I just think it looks better. With the beetles, you put the pin in to the right of the center line. You couldn't really put it right through the middle because it would push the elytra out to the side and it would look wrong. So then put it just to the right, and between the second set of legs and the third set of legs, so when the pin comes through the bottom, it's not interfering with the movement of the legs. So I want the pin to come out right there, right in the middle between the two. And again, we want to get the pin nice and straight. Make sure it's going in straight. Let's see here. Looks pretty good. And then we can check on it and just look at it from the front. If the pin looks straight. It's slightly crooked. Yeah, it's slightly crooked. I'm going to move it a little bit. It needs to come here. You can see it needs to go that way a little bit. So I can pull it part way out. Then make another approach. That's it. And we want it straight this way too. We want the pin to be straight this way and this way. That's pretty good. Okay. So we'll pin the specimen in straight as well, and then move the legs out into position. There. Just double check and make sure that looks good. Yeah, that looks nice and straight. So we'll get some pins and brace the abdomen so it doesn't rotate, and then pull the front legs up into position. These beetles often don't need a lot of pins to hold them in place. You kind of get the leg in the right position and it'll kind of stay there. Push this one in a little bit. Put this one down. a little bit. Now, get the front leg. Bend that one a little bit. You know, I can see that this front tarsi is missing a claw. It's only got one claw on it here. It's supposed to have two. So I guess I'll replace that as well. To make it easier to replace that tip, I'm going to lift up the end of the tibia a little bit, just so I can more easily get to the tip of the of it to attach the missing tarsi. I'm also going to reach underneath here and grab the antenna and pull it out. There it is. And on the other side. And I'll straighten those out a little bit. Okay, so we're going to need to replace this rear tarsi and this front one. I can take the other specimen, and they vary a little in size, but these two are pretty much exactly the same size, so these tarsi should line up just fine. And I can grasp the replacement tarsi right at the base, right where it goes into the tibia, and just pull gently on it. Nope, didn't come out. Use stiffer tweezers. And it should come out. There we go. That's the rear one. And we're going to replace the front tarsi as well, so we'll pull that one off. Make sure they're in the right spot. I'm going to lie it next to the one that needs to be replaced. And I'm going to keep this damaged specimen for other parts, because eventually another beyeri will come my way and it'll need a part off of this, and I'll have this, my spare parts beetle. I'm going to raise up this rear tibia slightly, and then take a pin, get a little drop of glue, and put that in the socket where the tarsi goes, and then pick up the tarsi, put a little drop of glue on the end of that, and then let's just set that right into place. They are good as new. No one will ever know. I might have to adjust that a little bit as it dries from sagging. There. And we might as well do the front one while we're at it. I'm going to grab this tibia with another tweezer, and then grab the tarsi and pull it out. There we go. Yeah, that one's kind of damaged. And the same thing, we'll get a pin with a little bit of glue on it. Put the glue in the... Oh, I gotta raise that up a little bit so I can get to it. There. Put the glue in the tarsi end. And then a little glue on the tarsi itself. And put that in the socket. There. Brace this up with a pin a little bit so it's upright. And oh, this tarsi down here has slipped a little bit. I'm gonna brace it. Come on. There we go. Wow, that looks really good. Looks like a perfect specimen. And now I've got a couple of nice cockroaches here. There's a species here called a Domino Cockroach. And they call this one, I've got two of those. And then I've got one they call a question mark. I think it's called a question mark. It has a little mark on the elytra. These were part of a colony a friend of mine's raising, and they just died of old age. He saved them for me. They're exotic tropical forest cockroaches. And I always ask people who have live bug colonies like that to save me some dead ones for the collection. They're kind of cute. They got pretty relatively long legs. And these nice black and white markings on their elytra. So I'm going to pin a couple of these up now too. Alright, so I'm going to use a fairly small pin of 1. And just like the beetle, we put the pin through to the right of the center line. And try and get it through nice and straight. That looks pretty good. And we can check on the bottom. No, I got it right. Push the pin right through the leg. So we're going to have to back this pin out. And we use tweezers for that. And to move this leg there out of the way. Put the pin through again. Alright, that's better. And we'll pin the specimen straight. Start it over here. And the foam. That looks good. And then we can pull the legs out where they're visible. Pull the middle leg out here. And on this side. And then front legs. This side. There's the antenna. I want to be careful with those. There's the leg. I'm going to move these antennae out front so they're out of the way. There. There. And I'm going to try and get these front legs out a little bit farther so we can see them. I'm going to reach a pin in below and brace the back of the leg so that it'll stay out. If you saw these walking around, you would see the legs out, so that's what I'm going for. I'll do it like this. Yeah, there we go. Same on the other side. Pull the leg out and then put the pin on top tibia to hold it in place. Oh yeah, that looks good. And maybe a couple of pins to move the tarsi forward a little bit. And raise up the antenna. They're kind of flattened down. The antennae on these roaches are very soft and they're pretty fragile, so I have to be careful with them. And the other one. There. Straighten up the side one a little bit. And I'm going to pull this back one, this back leg back a little farther and put a pin in front of the femur. And then move the tibia out a little bit. I'm going to do the same on this side. Switch hands here. Pull the leg back. Pin in front of the femur. It's out a little too far. Push it back in a little bit. Oops. A little too much. There we go. And just straighten out the antennas a little bit. This one's a little crooked. There. Now, the white on the elytra is discolored a little bit because it's been soaking in alcohol. But as soon as this dries out, it'll just be nice and white. I usually soak these roaches a little bit. They're kind of greasy inside, and if we can get some of that grease out of them, they tend to dry out nicer and the color is preserved better too. So these specimens are dry now. I've got them labeled and ready to go. The beetle came out. Very, very nice. All looks good. The orange spot domino cockroach. Very pretty. These question mark cockroaches, and two of them, there's a little bit of staining in the white part on them. This is from fat in the body. This one more so than this one. But I'm going to try and soak that out with some acetone. So what I'll do is remove the label. I have my little jar here. I'll pour in some acetone. Now, acetone's toxic and flammable, so please be careful with it. And then I can just take the specimen and grab the pin and just plunk it upside down into the acetone. And acetone's really good at dissolving fats, grease, and should just leave that in there for maybe just an hour or so, and that should help dissolve out some of the fat. We'll see how that works. I'm going to cover the top with just a little bit of aluminum foil. Just evaporate quickly, and I'm going to set that outside. We'll come back to that in about an hour. Alright, we'll see how this came out. We'll just pin them and let them dry. I can still see discoloration there. This may not help. Okay, we'll let those dry out a little bit. Alright, these are dry now. And it does appear that the acetone soak did help a little bit. Yeah, they look clearer than they did before. So, I'll just put them on the labels. And again, I don't have the exact details. Since you were raised in captivity, I just have the name ex ova and the date 2016 when these were alive. Okay. Alright, this is the cockroach box in my teaching collection. It's quite a good assortment here. Blabrous species, tropical, South American. These are the ones they call American cockroaches, although they're not originally from the United States. Dubia, which is raised as a pet food. Australasiae, this is an Asian one I got in Indonesia. These are, they call oriental roaches, vestigial wing roaches. They're in the United States here, but they're actually, I guess, not from Asia. Beetle roach. This is the native species to the Pacific Northwest, Cryptocercus punctulatus. Looks very much like the hissing cockroach. This is a nymph of the Blabrous, giant Blabrous. This is a rhinoceros. This is the Australian roach, the largest species. So it's very difficult to get. A friend of mine who wrote a book about cockroaches gave that to me, and I was really glad to have it. And these are nice additions, these domino roaches, so I've made some space for them. This is the question mark roach. I'll put that one here. Straighten it out a little bit. And then I've got both the white and orange spot domino roach from India. Put the orange spot here. Yeah, looks good. I think roaches get a bad rep. A lot of people consider them diseased and disgusting, and I don't know. Some of these are really beautiful. The zebra roach from Trinidad, stripes. There's a green Panchlora, the Cuban green, bright green roach. Also, these are very interesting. They call them glow spot. Yeah, these are the glow spot roaches. It's two different species, warted glow spot and glow spot. And apparently these yellow dots on the thorax have bioluminescent fungus, so they actually glow. But in captivity they don't, unfortunately. It'd be really interesting to see that. See glowing ones. Also these light colored outlines around the abdomen, apparently those can glow too.